Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Are WWE teasing the introduction of women's tag team titles? I am Luke Owen. This is El Fakador Laurie Blake, and welcome to the post-Raw WrestleRamble, which, of course, is sponsored by Beer52.com. Just head over to beer52.com/ramble to claim your free case of craft beer. UK viewers only. Don't get upset if you're not one of those. So, Raw last night had quite a lot of stuff happen on it. You and I were talking just before we came, before we pressed record, that there was an awful lot on this show. And I would say overall, it was better than the last 2 weeks. But when the bar is so low, it's easy to trip over it. And
if you are at the bottom, the only way is up.
You can't go any lower.
No, you can stay low.
Yeah.
Or you can go up.
That's what it is. So post-Survivor Series, they were right at the bottom.
Oh,
and then week after, they just thought, well, let's stay here. I'm quite comfy now. And then this week, they thought...
I've made a bed this week, so
and this week, they were like, nah, I suppose. Oh, hello, just tripped over it. Now we'll go up slightly. So I thought it was a better show. But this opening segment, or I suppose the second segment on the show, was a repeat, a Control-C, Control-V of last week's segment, where Alexa Bliss called down Bayley and Sasha Banks and got them in the ring to do like this open forum thing with Charlie Caruso walking around to get questions. And it was odd because Bliss was sort of babyface in this segment.
Yes.
Sort of.
She was snarky.
Yeah, but at the same time, she was like, I'm really sorry that Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke and Mickie James did that attack on you last week. I told them not to, and I've reprimanded them for doing so. And you're like, oh, okay, well, you're a heel, so clearly you're just making that up. You're lying, clearly. But then when Alicia Fox, Dana Brooke, and Mickie James do run out later on, Liz is like, no. I told you, you're not doing this. We're going to have a fair tag team match instead. I was like, oh, okay.
Fine.
I
liked a bit at that point as well. She was like, Dana, you can stay here if you want. Like, you're not in the match, Dana, but you can hang out.
What else are you going to do,
That's cool,
Dana?
man. That's cool, man. Hang out.
Yeah.
Hang out.
So... But one of the key parts of this is when they were doing the sort of open forum thing and they were talking to these planted fans around the ring. One of the people asked, what do you want to do in 2019? What do you want to change about women's wrestling in 2019? And Bayley says they want to be the first ever women's tag team champions. And that got a decent reaction from the crowds. Probably a bigger reaction if they'd have announced it at Evolution.
Yeah.
But it did get...
And also if the rest of the segment hadn't have happened up until that point.
Well, yeah. Good Lord, yeah. I was begging for this segment to end.
Fill time! Fill time! Charlie Caruso can't move that quickly. You should have just put all four of the people that she was talking to in one place.
In one place, yeah. Because bless her heart, she was running around. She didn't know which point she was meant to be at next.
No, she was just looking like, what? I don't know.
Poor old Corey.
Bliss did a very good job of filling for time.
Yeah,
Banks and Bayley was struggling.
And Corey Graves was just making fun of poor Charlie Caruso.
She looks like a Jedi. Obi-Wan Caruso.
So, yeah, they were teasing that perhaps next year we are finally going to get this women's tag team division. A tag team division, it feels like they've spent all of 2018 building because they've got Bayley and Banks on Raw along with the Riot Squad, Nia Jax and Tamina, Rousey and Natalya, you could argue. They even had for a while Bliss and Jax. You got
Trish and Lita floating around there.
Were floating around there as well. Good shout. And then on Raw, you've got Naomi and Asuka.
Yeah.
They were a tag team for a bit.
The Iconics.
Thank you. And
Mandy and Sonya,
although they might be splitting up as well. God, you're so much better at this than I am. I can't remember who's on the roster half the time. And that's because I keep thinking of Lana. I'm like, who's Lana teaming with? I suppose she could team with Carmella.
She could do.
Dance partners. So it just feels like they've been doing this thing to build up these female tag teams. And we keep been saying, like, is it going to happen? Are they going to pull the trigger? Maybe they're going to announce at Evolution. Maybe they're going to do a tournament to culminate at Evolution. And it just never happened. WWE were handing out signs to fans saying, we want a women's tag team division. So clearly the company wants it.
Yes.
And they want to portray on TV that fans want it as well. And yet... they've been so slow to pull the trigger on it.
Just get the belts, man. Like, just do it.
If you're gonna do it, just do it.
Yeah, well, I don't understand. Because they would, they pushed all that stuff to the floor as well. With like, they let Becky Lynch go out there and say all this stuff before she was the man. She was the woman who was talking about the tag team titles.
Yep.
She was going out there saying that was her idea and she wanted them to be traveling, etc., etc. Stephanie teased it a few times as well during that build-up thing, and then like all the way through to Evolution. Then it was like, yeah, we're not doing that.
No.
Like, they'd said it in press events. They'd said it to like calls with investors and stuff. Like, why wouldn't you just do that? It's just another thing for people to do that makes things, because the women on Raw and SmackDown, generally speaking anyway, just have tag matches. If you have belts, it makes that seem like it's important, because otherwise it's just with nothing for you to do.
They do have a lot of tag matches. It's a big thing in women's division.
We have run out of ideas.
And it sometimes feels that WWE, the only way they know how to do feuds is if there are belts on the line. Because if you are not after a belt, then you are after nothing, and you are just more or less doing nothing. And that's within the women's division. If you're not going after the women's tag belts, if you're not going after Ronda Rousey, or if you're not going after Becky Lynch, then you're doing nought.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, you're not being friends with someone anymore, and that's the problem. Yeah. You broke my friendship bracelet. Oh, I'll get you.
They had that with Nia Jax and Ember Moon later on, and they didn't really bring up the fact that supposedly they were best mates like a month ago before Nia did her turn. But they did call her protege at one point. I was yeah, bollocks, mate. No, she wasn't. So
Busy buds.
So come 2019. Are they going to announce these? Finally, are we going to get this tag team division that we've been teasing? Or, as you say, is this just another tease in a long litany of teases?
You would hope so. I think like possibly the other reasons behind this is because there's been so much other stuff this year. There's been Evolution. There's been a Mae Young Classic 2. We've had to have the whole of NXT UK introduced, and that's got its own belts. So like, there has been a lot of belt-related palaver this year.
Heavy on the belts at WWE
North American
now.
Championship as well. Like all this stuff. Like it's. All of these new things are coming in, so like maybe it's a step too far this year to do the tag thing. But then why have we been bothering to set it up? Like, why didn't we just like really low key stop people talking about it, move a few people into position where it seems like that could happen?
Yeah.
And then when you want to pull the trigger on it, you can do it. Because at the moment, it just feels like everyone's in a tag team and no tag teams have anything to do.
Yes. Well, I mean, the Riot Squad have got ties to cut and mustard to put on
mustard
doors.
to spill. But I think the problem is also like watching it. You're like, if you're in a tag team, you're never gonna get the title. Like, you're better to be in an alliance than in a tag team, because it seems to be a waste of time to be like, we're actually like a literal named tag team, and we will never get a shot at anything.
And if they were to do women's tag titles, which I think they've probably got a bit of roster depth to do now. I think they probably do need some more names to kind of like fill out. But if you are going to do these tag belts as what Becky Lynch proposed, which are touring belts that they are either on Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK, and essentially they're just all the women in all four brands just always have these matches between fighting over these two belts rather than having a Raw women's tag team title and a Smack. Because if you have that, the roster is not deep enough for it.
No, you've got 2 tag teams per brand.
Pretty much, yeah. And you're knackered. As soon as you've had that one feud, you're then scuppered and you've got nothing else to do.
But the tag belts make perfect sense in that regard, because you obviously can then use the depth of talent that WWE is building up globally now, but you also get the chance to bring a legend in for a brief run where they team up with somebody and they go after the belts, and that's a good way to hide the fact that they might have a bit of ring rust or whatever. You put them in there with someone like Sasha Banks or Bayley or someone at the top of their game, and then they also get that pop for being like, oh look, someone's back.
Absolutely. And like Banks and Bayley in this even tease that the match they want is against Trish and Lita. They want to have a tag team match with them. They want to be the first tag team champions.
At Mania. No less. So that's probably happening.
Well,
I mean, that's probably happening in the sense that, like, I don't
know, that card is already getting filled up.
Nothing else for anyone to do. Let's do that for 10 minutes.
Randy Orton and Batista will need 45 minutes. I'm not sure we got room for...
They will need 45 minutes.
They'll just need it. Especially because if Triple H isn't going to be part of that match and it is going to be Randy filling in for him, then they will get that requisite 45 minutes to really show off what they can do. And I like Batista and I like Randy Orton as well.
Big things.
Do not need to see 45 minutes of them. But, so, question is less, do we want these belts? It's more a case of, do we think, or do you think, I'd rather pose the question to you, do you think that Bayley and Banks should be the first women's tag team champions?
No.
Who would you pick instead?
Well, the reason I don't think Bayley and Banks should be the first women's tag team champions is because I just think it's a shame. I just think it's like them winning the tag belts is like the consolation prize to what them on the main roster could have been. Mm-hmm. And that's why it annoys me. Like we've done all the setup for the Banks and Bayley feud that was so amazing in NXT. Why haven't we done that and we're doing this instead now?
Because we were holding off on that so we could do this tag team thing.
I just hate it. I hate it so much, Luke. I hate it. I don't know. Who would I have as the inaugural women's champion?
See, for me, if I was to answer the question, which I will do now, I'd pick the Iconics. Because I think the Iconics... I was
just about to, for a laugh, say the Iconics.
Because I think like the Iconics have done sweet FA since coming up to the main roster. Like they've been treated like an absolute joke, which is a real shame because they're a great act together. They can get, if given a chance, they could generate some genuine heel heat. But at the moment, they're given pretty naff material sometimes. So they come out to crickets, and they've been treated like a joke.
Yes.
So the heat that they try and get means absolutely now because everyone just looks at me and goes like, well, you just lose all the time. So I'm not going to boo you because you say that my town is smelly.
You're not even worth booing.
You're not even worth booing. But if you treat them with a bit more seriousness and you push them as a legitimate threat and then they win the tag titles, then they're iconic and they can brag about being the tag champs and the inaugural tag team champions. That adds a wrinkle to their characters that is more than just we are friends, also we're not American, which I think is their only character.
Yeah, I worry that devalues the belt slightly because of the way they are viewed.
You'd have to build them before you give them the win.
So my new one would be to go for, and this would take some doing because they're currently involved in something, but Kairi Sane, Io Shirai.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's good.
I think they both have just the star power to pull it off. They're obviously not quite as big as anyone who speaks English in WWE is.
And really, they only have star power to that NXT audience.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
As we know, is so much smaller than the Raw and SmackDown
But I
audience.
think them winning the belts would seem like this cool thing. And I mean, they don't have to have it for a little bit, but I don't want it to be like, and the first people to win the belts were...
heels.
Oh, boring heels who haven't really done anything.
Cheating to win.
I'd like to see someone who is actually like, in the terms of the women's revolution and the women's evolution, like let's have someone who's like an amazing wrestler win it.
Yeah.
A team that's both amazing wrestlers.
And I also think like the kind of the brilliance of doing it as across all four brands, if that is the way they're going to do it, which I really hope they do, because the brilliance of that is that if you have those belts defended on Raw, and it is Kairi Sane and Io Shirai, Aop Shirai, defending those titles on Raw, you can push these two as like, these are NXT talent. You can watch more NXT talent like them by signing up to the WWE Network, and you can watch NXT every Wednesday. It's why it's always baffled me that WWE have never used their main roster shows, which have a much wider audience than NXT currently has, to tell people, by the way, NXT's ace, and you can watch more of that by getting onto the WWE Network. It's the same with the Cruiserweights. 205 Live's brilliant. You can watch it every single Wednesday if you sign up to the network and give us money.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
if you give us money, we can show you an amazing product. But actually what they do is like, no, don't do that. Don't give us money. We're just going to hide it away over here because you only pay for it if you know it's there.
We're basically not going to mention that Lucha House Party is a team of cruiserweights.
Like, what? That's such a backward way of thinking.
Yeah,
like, surely, oh man.
Like every time they come out and they do these amazing flips and stuff, you go, you can watch all of that again on 205 Live, but with other guys who also know other types of flips.
Yeah.
Incredible.
But also they make more sense on 205 Live where they're not in Lucha House Party rule match whatever. So, oh, crikey, we'll get to that.
Casual foreign match.
Pinata.
Still on stuff.
So I do hope we get them in 2019. I mean, my push for the Iconics is more based around the fact that I just love the Iconics and I'd like to see them given more credence than they have been given on the main roster.
True.
But I like your idea of giving it to someone like Kairi and Aop Shirai, or like the Horsewomen.
Yes, that was my other.
Yeah, giving it to like Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. Like that's their first big win, is getting those tag team titles, and just using these titles to kind of like push these other brands and be like, you buy the network and you can watch more of these. You can watch the tag team. If you want to see the women's tag team titles defended, you'll need to get the network so you can watch a NXT Takeover San Jose or whatever. Just like I think that'd be a really good use of those belts. But sorry, go on.
No, go. That's it.
I was going to say,
I was just going to go yes.
Yes. Well,
yes.
Yes. And here is the Raw review. Haha, it's a Raw review looking jacked, man. But Raw officially kicked off with a 10-bell salute for George, not W. Bush, the other one. The
H.W. Bush.
H.W. Bush, thank you. George Bush Sr., the one that was on The Simpsons, but wasn't really him that was on The Simpsons, just someone doing an impression. But the show kicked off proper with Ronda Rousey and Natalya versus Tamina and Nia Jax. At least that's what was supposed to happen. But instead, Tamina came out to an incredible lack of reaction. Like, it stuns me every week how little reaction she gets.
And she does not look like she wants to be there either, is the other thing. Like, Tamina, it's not a smile and it's not a scowl. She has got resting no face. Like, she's not got any emotion. She walks out just like, so I'm here.
Hello, I am Tamina. Match now. And she has quite the moment later on. It's not her fault, though. But as this match is about to get started, the Riot Squad come down and sort of cause a distraction, and that it ends up being a brawl. And you've got Nia and Tamina beating up Ronda, and you've got the Riot Squad beating up Natalya, and eventually they put Natalya through a table, perhaps setting up a Natalya Ruby Riot tables match at TLC.
Or potentially the Riot Squad and Natalya and random mates.
Could be, but there are no more left because all the other ones are heels.
Sasha Banks and Bayley don't have anything to do they?
Oh, yes, true. They haven't got anything to do. And there's also Ember Moon.
She's a great stand-in friend, as we find out later in this.
So
my friend's arm hurts. Who's about?
No, you've already had segments. Oh, Ember, you're literally the last person left.
Sorry, Ember. Put down the dice. Stop playing D&D. Come on, in the ring.
So unfortunately, that match doesn't take place, and instead Ronda is helping Natalya backstage, and she's looking for some help, and Ronda does mean face to try and set up a match for later on.
I love when Ronda's looking for help, and she just goes, "Can I get some help here?" to like some guys who are literally as far away from her as you are from me. She's just shouted in this medic's face. It's like, they are already there, Ronda.
They were on their way.
The speed that they arrive at.
They were on their way, man. Also, it's a slight arm injury. It's not 1945. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Natalya is hamming it up, isn't she? She's like,
my arm!
Ma'am. She got to the table, ma'am.
Tell my son I won't be there this morning. We then got more women's segments, which was the Alicia, crikey, what's wrong with me today? Alexa Bliss segment with...
You're not the only one who can get the names right in this segment.
Crikey, apparently not. With Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Banks, which then brought down Alicia Fox, Dana Brooke and Mickie James, your generic heels. And that... then set up a tag team match between Mickie and Fox versus Banks and Bayley, which was...
a match.
Before that, though, they said, like, this match is brought to you by the Nintendo Switch. And they played an advert that had better acting than the segment that played before it.
Yeah, in my Raw review, I said that this was the best bit of the show.
It really was.
5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars.
I've seen that advert hundreds of times as well, and I'm still like, The Switch is good.
The Switch is good. My mother texted me saying, "Is there anything you want for Christmas this year?" And I was like, "Well, I'd like an electric screwdriver or a Nintendo Switch." I know which one I'm getting because it's not the Switch.
Oh.
I know, but it was a match. A bit of miscommunication between Fox and Mickie. Banks got the statement in, and then they did the combination backstabber into Bayley to belly, with Alexa Bliss applauding at ringside.
Yes.
Which again was like a really weird, is she a face, is she a heel dynamic.
I feel like she's just doing her job. It's like first week jitters or whatever. Like she's just like being really on her best behaviour.
Just wants to
make
a good impression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's trying to make a good impression, just in case Corbin gets himself fired.
Yeah, and like it's like The Apprentice. Like you want to try and make yourself known in the first week, but then after people get fired, you're like, oh yeah, no, this is quite serious. I need to sort of like either blend into the background, which is what Sarah Ann's done on this season of The Apprentice. I think she's like 5 words. She's still there, and spoilers. And you do that, or you just start playing nice to everyone. It's agreeing with everyone so they don't take you into the boardroom afterwards. Maybe that's the game that she is playing. We then got revealed that it was Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night, which for me with Raw is pretty much every night that Raw's on.
It's the only saving grace.
And Morgan Waller was in the ring with his tremendous mullet. It's just, I find it incredible that here in 2018 there are people who can still wear mullets. I remember watching an old WCW pay-per-view, and Scott Norton came out with an incredible mullet, and I thought, crikey, In 1997, people were still rocking mullets. Here we are in 2018.
Yeah, imagine going into the barbers and asking for a mullet.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine me going into the barbers. It's another completely different
I was going to say,
yeah.
You and I are kids throwing stones at glass houses currently.
Have a crack. See what you can do with that. Nothing.
Yeah, there's not a lot there.
But imagine asking for a mullet and he's like, yeah, sorry, let me just get out my time machine to sort this out.
Although, actually, in all fairness, I can grow my hair longer at the back than I can up on top, which is where it's all losing. That's where I'm losing it all. So technically, I can grow myself a mullet.
I could comb up my back hair to be a mullet.
That's it, yeah. So I can probably get whatever's left there short enough and then just grow a mullet off the back of it.
I can make a nice little thatch out of that.
It's entirely possible. Or I'll just go Hulk Hogan and just have the his doll hair.
Just the rim,
So then we get Alexa Bliss walking backstage, and Ronda Rousey was really T.O.'d and said that she sent the Riot Squad home. And it was at this point I realised, are Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss the same height? Or is it just because Alexa Bliss is wearing heels? Because they were eye to eye. And I was like, I mean, Bliss is 5 feet of fury, and I don't think Ronda Rousey is 5 foot, so I'm going to guess that Bliss was wearing heels.
Really high heels.
Yeah, really high heels. But Ronda
you can see she was on a track that someone was slightly elevated her.
It was like Andre the Giant promo, stand on a box, mate. And Ronda said she's going to find a new tag team partner, which I've written here, I'm going to guess it's Ember Moon.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. We then got a really funny video package for Baron Corbin. Trying to show the great stuff that he's done, and it really felt like it was a promo that Baron had put together himself and done the voiceover for. It wasn't him, but it reminded me of the Biff Tannen video package in Back to the Future 2, where they talk about all the great stuff that he has done for Hill Valley.
It gave me, it just gave me sort of like Our Glorious Leader vibes. You know, it was a bit like Kim Jong-un style kind of. I really liked it. I thought it was really funny, and I like that should be the kind of thing you do with Corbin in this regard, and all the way into the build up into TLC. Like, it should be getting more and more overblown and pompous. His I'm almost guaranteed to be the general manager now.
Yeah.
Let's really lean into this.
Yeah, and that's what I'm guessing that's where they're going with this as well, because they're still pushing that it's Braun versus Baron, despite the fact that all the reports are that Braun's recovering from his elbow surgery and will not be around until at least the Royal Rumble. But as Meltzer wrote in The Observer, all you need to do is have Braun come out, do a power slam and pin him. You don't have to have an actual match. It's billed as a TLC match, but it doesn't have to be one. If you want to protect Braun and have him not do much and just let him recover from his elbow surgery, just don't announce the match, or announce the match. Keep teasing he's not going to be there, and then Baron comes out. I'm Baron Corbin. Heel promo. Your town sucks. I'm brilliant. Braun. He comes down. Power slam. 1, 2, 3, and Baron's out of a job, and Braun goes off to the Royal Rumble to face Brock Lesnar. Job done. Perfecto. If obviously if Braun can manage that.
I'm sure Braun can one-armed power slam Baron Corbin.
Yes. And this is where we got a point where it was almost feeling like Baron Corbin was sort of playing a face role as well, because he was helping out a babyface in this next segment, because Roode and Gable walk in and they say that we want a rematch against AOP, and Baron's like, hey man, look, you lost your match last week, but if you want another rematch, I'll give you a setup match. If you can beat Drake Maverick, you can get your rematch. And Bobby Roode's like, hey, happy days, because that's not going to be ours.
Yeah.
So
because Bobby Roode had been saying beforehand that he wanted to get his hands on Drake Maverick for having weed on his cloak.
Yeah, God.
So getting your hands on Drake Maverick when he's covered in weed is quite difficult. It's slippery.
Thankfully, less we in this episode of Monday Night Raw, so thumbs up all around. Instantly, that actually puts it above, one level above last week.
At the moment, it was before it was at the bottom of a hole, drowning in urine, and now the hole is at least dry.
Let's pick up Steve there. And so they set up, but obviously it was going to be dirty Baron Corbin tricks, which we'll come to later.
Curse you, Corbin.
But then we got, oh my God, I feel so bad for the Revival. 3rd week in a row.
Oh my God.
Loser House Party come out for a match. Sorry, I should stop covering up my microphone. Loser House Party come out for a match. The Revival come out and say, this is not tag team wrestling, so we're going to have a one-on-one match. And then they get into the ring, and it's announced that it's a 3-on-1 handicap match.
Because of the Lucha House Party.
Because of Lucha House Party rules or whatever, and Loser House Party win. And I'm, good crikey. And this has got to be going somewhere. This has to be going somewhere.
You'd hope so.
You'd hope so. And
I was saying that about the Kevin Owens thing for ages.
This has to be, and here is my one shining light, my one glimmer of hope that this is going somewhere. Because during this match, and I'll come on to the hypocrisy of this in a second, but during this match, the commentators kept saying, someone is making these rules.
Yeah.
Someone is allowing the Lucha House Party to continue having these matches.
Yes.
And they sort of slightly admit that it's unfair. But they are like, hey, this is great. They're having fun. They're just playing by the rules. They're just doing, what is asked of them. So there is a tease that there is someone who is making these rules.
Yes.
So my one glimmer of hope is that this is a storyline that is going somewhere. My other glimmer of hope is that the Revival leave in April and go join AEW. That's my all Elite Wrestling. That's my other glimmer of hope.
That is the better hope, I think, because this is like. I mean, it's cool. Like, I like Lucha House Party.
They do fun flips.
I like the flips. I like that stuff. But I don't know why it comes at the expense of the Revival, but for stupid reasons. I don't understand the fact that, like, they're cool and they do wicked moves, but also somehow that makes them also stupid. Like,
it makes me hate the Loser House Party. And I don't want to hate Loser House Party because, as you say, they do fun flips. They've got fun get-up.
Yeah.
They are they're the Raw's equivalent of the New Day. I'm sure they can have tremendous matches each and every week. But they keep putting in these situations where they're having a 3-on-1 handicap match and asking me to like them. I'm like, no, I just feel bad for the other guys.
Yeah,
who,
absolutely.
for the third week in a row, have been cheated out of a win.
Yeah. Who are the heels and keep coming in and saying,
Fight
this isn't tag team wrestling that we're doing here. We're doing some weird thing that you're making up. You're making up the rules.
This
and they're
is
like,
not fair.
Oh, well, it wasn't fair last week, but now it's harder this week. It's harder this week.
It's like WWE 2K19 being like, now win a 3-on-1 handicap match.
Yeah.
Although you're the babyface and you're fighting heels.
Yeah, oh my God, that was
the match that made you quit playing the game.
I did stop dead there. Samoa Joe and the Bar versus me, and I was like, it's impossible. You can't win.
Well, you can win. You've just got to buy those loot boxes.
I've got to cheat. No, I had to cheat. I spent the whole match taking them outside the ring and just hitting them off the ring post until they were all red health, and then I still couldn't win.
We haven't done a review of the game. So anyway, I'm hoping this is going somewhere. It has to be going at least somewhere. But just a reminder, folks, during this match, when it was announced that it was a 3-on-1 handicap match, Michael Cole was there going like, they're just playing by the rules.
That's the rules. I'm a stickler for the rules.
Them's are the rules. They're having fun. Them's the rules.
But then at the same time, Graves was the one in this match saying, this is unfair, this is completely outrageous, the Revival were just trying to have a tag team match and this is crazy. And then it's all flips again later on in the show.
Yep. Oh. Just going to say, just remember that. Cole thought it was a good thing.
And Graves thought it was bad.
Backstage, Corbin is there and a stagehand walks in and gives him a box that was something he asked for an hour ago, steady. And which is going to lead us into Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night with Corbin playing a video for Drew. Which, this was a good segment for... was it a good segment for Drew? I don't like Drew McIntyre being a lackey. And Drew McIntyre has felt like a bit of a lackey.
The whole time.
Like, even when he was with Dolph, it just sort of felt like he was there to be the tag team partner for Dolph, even though he was the star, and we all knew that he was the one that was going to break away from the group and become the star. So that's kind of fine. But I like him much... But then they go into the Dogs of War stuff. But I liked him a lot less in this role where he is just playing second fiddle to Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley. And the character of Drew McIntyre never really felt like someone who was going to suck up and kiss ass to the guy that's the GM-elect. So I've been really down on this Drew McIntyre character since Survivor Series because I don't think this is the right role for him. So, on a more positive note, at least here he didn't feel like the lackey.
No, I felt like this was like Corbin looking at him being like, I love you.
Yeah, I love you. I need you. I need you more than you need me.
Please have this chocolate coin that I've got.
Please have this golden coin that I have created and I have bought off Firebox that I need you to just love me. Just love me.
Love me, Joe.
I need this job. So that is why I kind of didn't hate this segment all that much, is because Drew stepped out from being a lackey. That's a thumbs up.
Can we just, before we get into the deeper bit of this bit, can we just reference the fact that at the beginning of this segment, Corbin cuts a bit of a promo, doesn't he, when he comes out? And he says, I'm going to win the match against Braun Strowman at TLC because he's not going to turn up and he's going to forfeit, and then I will be the general manager.
Yes.
At that point, Corey Graves says, a win is a win. I'm a stickler for the rules. This is 10 seconds after the Lucha House Party match in which he was doing. I was like, this is literally the turnaround. I've never seen such a fast turnaround. Unless you're the Big Show.
Yeah. Bless his heart. Well, speaking of face turns, I really like Drew McIntyre's promo here. He's like, I came into Raw and I'm walking around the back and there's just everyone's playing video games and they're retweeting compliments. And I really like this about Drew. And he's like calling Balor a boy in a man's world. But foreshadowing. But speaking of random face turns, Dolph Ziggler came out. His record scratch hits on an MP3 and he wonders what we all wondered. What happened to our tag team?
Yeah.
We were a tag team literally 2 weeks ago, and then last week we weren't. What happened with that?
Strange.
And
so you got some new friends there.
Yeah.
Not happy about it.
I'm not happy about it, mate. And good question. And then so Drew was like, I never invited you to my party. This was the less... I didn't like Drew this part of it, where he's like, I didn't invite you to my party because you're a loser. And then you're too short. Oh, man. Here we are again. All that big Cass Bryan stuff is still hanging over this goddamn company, and we've got the tall people saying to the not so tall people, "You're not as tall as me, ergo I am better." It's so lazy.
Problem is, Luke, it's because you can't hear the top level conversation that they're having the whole time. So there's much more going on. I heard a lot more of this show. There was a lot more said in Raw, but because you're quite short, there wasn't a lot that you could hear.
I was going to say, because I am 5'10", I can't.
You can't hear it, Luke.
I can't understand.
There was a whole bit. They discussed Plato. They discussed.
Oh man, if only.
Corbin did a lovely reading of the Iliad during this.
If only I was tall enough to understand what they're talking about. My favourite thing about the Iliad. Have you ever seen The Boy Next Door?
No.
A wonderful, I'm going to do big air quotes here, erotic thriller starring Jennifer Lopez. It came out a couple of years ago.
How many?
And it is, I went to the press screening of it. I've never heard a press screening laugh so much at a film that's not meant to be laughed at. But it's tremendously awful. And there is a moment in there where she's like an English teacher and the boy next door, who is like perhaps the object of the affection, comes in and gives her a birthday present. And it is an original copy of the Iliad.
An original copy.
She's like, oh my god, it's an original copy of the Iliad. I'm like, and that was when the press screening lost it, and I was like, nope, there is no coming back from that line of dialogue.
It's weird that he made it into a book before books were invented.
Oh, what a great film. I might watch that the weekend. It's awesome. Oh no, I'm too busy watching Christmas films now. But anyway, so back to Drew calling Dolph short, and then getting out past that, he then gets back into some more good promo stuff, and he calls himself that I was the brains and the muscle. I was everything in this partnership.
It's a total package.
I'm the total package, and this partnership just was not working for me. It's like, you had one job, and that was to get me onto Raw. And finally, you succeeded in something. Yeah. I thought that was a great line.
He said, I made you, and he said also, I made you relevant for the first time in 10 years.
This is great stuff. And it actually kind of works for the Dolph character, being like, maybe, I have failed in a lot of aspects of things. Maybe I was wrong about you. Maybe my babyface turn could make sense. However, I'm not sure I can be that bothered with the Dolph Ziggler babyface in 2018.
No.
I mean, I've said my piece about Dolph in that I've very much moved past the Dolph thing. I had my time with cheering for Dolph, but WWE just sort of booked him into the ground and made me not care about him anymore. So it's very hard for me to get invested in him as a character.
Well, it's tough as well because anytime they do give him a push, they just push him into the same match with Seth Rollins, or 700 times.
They grind it to a halt and be like, "We're bored of you now. We're going to move on to someone else." Yeah. So, like, all these stop-start pushes have made me ambivalent to Dolph. However, in 2018, due to this partnership with Drew, I'm suddenly interested in into the Dolph Ziggler character again. I'm like, oh, this is actually, finally, I would like to see Dolph Ziggler on pay-per-view, preferably not against Seth Rollins again, but I would like to see him on pay-per-view. Actually, him being face does mean we probably won't get him facing Seth Rollins again, so maybe that's a thumbs up.
He can kick Ambrose.
But I don't think I'm in the mood, not the mood, but I don't think I'm asked about a babyface Dolph Ziggler in 2018.
I'm definitely not bothered about a feud between Drew and Dolph as well. Like, I'm definitely not like, I just think it doesn't help anyone, does it? Yeah. Like, it just, probably Drew wins it and it just buries Dolph more. If Dolph wins it, nothing happens from there, and it just ruins all the momentum that Drew's got.
Well, speaking of, we then got a match between the two, between Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. This partnership implodes randomly on Raw with no build. And and essentially, like, the whole match was just Drew dominated the entire match. So I've seen a lot of people on Twitter be very upset about this match. And I
liked it. It was a really good match.
I can see why people were upset with it for reasons we'll get into in a second. But here's how the match goes. Drew dominates. He dominates to the point where he grabs a microphone and cuts a promo while he is dominating. He's in charge. Dolph has zero chance. And then Finn Balor comes out because Drew was cutting a promo on him earlier and all of their actions last week. And that causes a distraction, allowing Ziggler to take over. But even when Ziggler takes over, big old Drew, being tall, he still dominates the match. But Dolph gets a couple of bits here and there. And then on the outside, Drew dominates further. Balor shotgun drop kicks Drew into the barricade. He nearly gets counted out, but valiantly, because he's a big, strong boy, gets back into the ring, only to be hit by a zigzag and pinned. So, the reason why people are upset with this is because this is the first loss that Drew has had since being called up to the main roster from NXT, and it's to Dolph Ziggler, who I think we can all establish are not really fussed on being a babyface. It's not the way I would have had Drew McIntyre lose his first match. However, I think they did a really good job in protecting Drew here.
Yes.
And making it look like, yes, he lost, but really he didn't lose. He beat himself, more or less, because he got distracted by Balor. It took Balor and Dolph to beat him. He didn't lose clean. He just got beaten because he was at a 2-on-1 disadvantage.
Yes.
And he dominated the whole time.
I think also the thing with Drew is he hasn't actually had that many matches himself where he's in it. He's been out a lot and at a lot of matches, but usually backing up Dolph Ziggler, and he's thrown a lot of claymores into places where he probably wasn't meant to. Realistically, you got to lose sometime. And if you're not going to do a big monster run where they're going to have an undefeated streak or whatever, you've got to sneak them in somewhere.
Yes.
And if he's going to win at the pay-per-view against Finn Balor or whatever it is, maybe it's fine for him to pick up and let Dolph at least go away with some sort of momentum himself that, if he's going to have this face run against whoever it turns out to be, it doesn't hurt Drew too much for him to get a pinfall after, technically, Balor cheats. So,
yes. Yeah, exactly. So, I wasn't as upset at Drew losing as some people very much appear to be. But I thought they tried their darndest to make Drew look strong in this defeat.
Well, I think it's good.
I don't think
he
came out looking worse.
It's good storytelling as well, in the sense that, like, at least if he loses here, and he, as we see later in the show, goes crazy.
Yeah.
If he goes even more crazy, like, because he's been the psychopath so far, but like he's not really actually been particularly unhinged or crazy. So I want to see him rampaging around, beating up anyone he wants to. Like, I'd love to see that stuff. So. Yeah. This is the kind of the door opening for all of that to happen.
Absolutely,
to be
exactly.
Like, I don't care about you, Corbin. I don't care about you, Lashley. I'm for me now, and I'm doing my own thing.
Totally. I don't care about your chocolate coin.
Yeah.
Or your 6 golden coins. I just want to go dominate now. So
get out of the way, Super Mario.
I'm hoping, like you say, that this could open up a door for this really to get that Scottish psychopath character out there. So we can build up to it next week and then have the match with Finn at the pay-per-view, where likely Drew will come out on top. And Drew does get his heat back by the end of this. And that's a word we haven't said a lot on this show, compared to the last 2 weeks, which have been nothing but heat, and heat. This match felt more balanced on that. And that's why it felt like a much more enjoyable show because of that. The baby faces got wins, the heels got heat, and it was a balanced show. So I was a fan. Not of everything. There's some things I wouldn't have done.
Yeah, Lucha House Party happened. Remember that?
Well, I mean, I was just talking about this segment alone. It was not a home run segment. It was not a perfect segment, but I didn't hate it as much as others have.
See, I feel like this was the strongest section of the show, apart from maybe the main event. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And then we got Elias, because Drew's walking backstage, and that was where he cut his big promo. And he was like, you know what, Ziggler should be scared. And Balor is a marked man. And all this stuff. And he just feels really pissed off. But Elias comes out and he wants to bash Bobby Lashley in the head with a guitar. But Bobby is running scared. And this was quite funny, he cut a local sports team reference but it was meant to be a good one.
Yeah.
Though usually it's just like because your local sports team loses. But this was like because your local sports team wins, I think. I mean, it was a your local sports team reference, which always go over my head regardless. But let me know in the comments, was it a babyface one?
You got too many sports, America.
Too many sports. With too many teams.
You got too many stuff.
And too many rules. Many people have tried to explain to me how the Super Bowl works in terms of the AFC and championships and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, nope. I'm sure it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I barely even get football, so I'm just like competitive throw and catch is like my speed.
But yet, if you and I sat down and played Smash Up,
oh yeah,
we're in. I know exactly what we're doing there because
it's written on the cards, mate. I just do what it says on the cards.
Those rules all make sense. That is a very, very simple game to pick up and play. Bloody love it. Anyway, so Elias is doing his promo. Not wet hair for Elias. He was very floofy tonight in the old hair department.
Yeah. What did I write for his little haircut? Let's have a look.
It was just like the humidity really got to him.
Yeah.
It's like Monica and Friends when they go to Barbados.
But his hair is all poofy. Is all I've written.
But anyway, so Leo comes out with Bobby and gets him to do his poses, including him pointing to his butt. Stop doing that. It's not getting him heat. It's not making people boo him.
Doesn't make him look strong.
No, it just makes him look like an idiot.
He looks like the comedy that they're getting out of it.
Can we say comedy?
Like the comedy, yeah, but the stuff they're attempting to do feels like what they did with Terminator 3. You know, like it's the same as like Arnie.
Talk to the hand.
Yeah, it's Arnie doing dumb things. Like he's a killer robot. Like Bobby Lashley doesn't come out and say anything anymore. He now just does whatever Leo Rush tells him to do. Leo Rush is making him do all these poses. It feels like a child is programming a T-1000.
Yeah. It was like, someone who watched Terminator 2 but misunderstood why people liked the stuff that Terminator did. Yeah. Even though that's why I prefer the original Terminator, the 84 one to Terminator 2, because I like Terminator to be scary and not going, no problemo. It's just not for me.
Hasta la vista, babe. Bobby.
Yeah, nice. And there was a really weird line, actually, when Elias is chasing Bobby up the ramp. He grabs his guitar, he's had enough of this, and he's going to chase Bobbles up the ramp. And Graves said, and I think this is what he was saying, Elias is so bad, he makes Paul McCartney want to join the rest of the Beatles. Which I think what he was saying was he wants Paul McCartney to die. Well, to hang out with Lennon and to hang out with George Harrison. Forgetting that Ringo Starr is still alive. Ringo's fine. That line doesn't make any sense. Ringo's all right, mate.
Yeah, Paul McCartney's the only one who's currently famous in America. So there you go.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, hey, Ringo Starr was on The Simpsons. Yeah. Surely everyone remembers that episode. It's a great episode.
This beat down here.
Sorry, back to this.
Sucked, didn't it? It sucked. Like he chases Rush off the stage. There was a point where they could not get a camera on that at all. Like, so he just leapt off, and then they sort of saw him in the crowd. And you're like, how did he get? I don't know. Did he run away or was he pushed? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, and then Lashley runs.
And gets him. And then they have a brief brawl. Elias flips it around, chucks him into the screens, and then he gets the guitar. And to get away, Lashley just starts rolling towards but he's like quite far from the curtain, so he just starts like rolling, and he's just still rolling. He's still rolling when Elias reaches him, and then Elias has to sort of stop, look at him as he goes. Da, 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 da. It's like the Penguins, like you didn't see anything.
And then
it's so weird.
Out of nowhere, Leo Rush is thrown back onto the stage for a guitar shot, and it's revealed that it was Balor that threw him out on the stage. Look at that, baby faces getting one up on the bad guys. Lovely stuff.
But again, I was just like, what is going on at any point in this? Like someone, you could have blocked this out, guys. Worked out how you were filming it, like whatever. That's
the bigger problem. Yeah,
I don't know. There was no difference to Leo Rush being chucked on the stage to take this guitar shot, or Balor literally dragging him back onto the stage and just depositing him for Elias to do it. And that is a better moment because it's like at least the audience in the venue can see it.
Yes,
I'm sure they couldn't see that Balor had done it. They just saw a Leo Rush appear and go, where's he come from? Why is he coming back this way? He's gone that way.
A wild Leo Rush appeared. Corbin was backstage. And it's funny as well, when someone asked me on Twitter like why I didn't hate this episode as much as I did for like previous 2 weeks, and my first thought was like it was just less Corbin. But it doesn't go through my nose. It wasn't a lot of backstage segments. Maybe it was just less Corbin in the ring.
He was doing his job though this week.
He was doing his job, looking at phones and that. Yeah. But he's with Jinder Mahal, and Jinder wants a match with Balor, and which Corbin agrees to. Poor old Jinder, I guess, is just, WWE champion just a year ago. And he then calls in Rhyno and Heath Slater. And he said that he's crunched the numbers and there's only room on Raw for one of them. And he says that one of you guys has got to quit and save your tag team partner. Or I'm going to put you into a match and the loser of that match is going to be fired. So, a weird storyline to just randomly add here. But we'll come on to why this has happened later.
Completely unused tag team.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. And there was me thinking, one of them could just go to SmackDown. But yeah, we'll come to that in a second. We then got a recap of SummerSlam 2000 and the TLC match between Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys. I bring this up because we reviewed this on Patreon, so nice little plug there. $5 a month. You can go and hear me and Ollie talk about that pay-per-view for about 4 hours. And it is a corking pay-per-view. What a brilliant show that was. Absolutely awesome, that show. Loved it. Oh, all the Kurt Angle, Triple H stuff. God, it's a great show. Then we got Bobby Roode versus Drake Maverick. But before the match does more or less get started, Bobby just sort of beats down Drake. Drake was selling this brilliantly. I thought Drake's selling of just I don't really want to have this match, mate. Yeah. I'm a bit scared of having a match with you. Getting into the ring and then getting beaten down by him. But then on the screen, we see that AOP was beating down Chad Gable, and that was Corbin's plan all along. Because he banned AOP and Gable from ringside so they could beat him down backstage. And then he approached them going I've changed this now. It's now a 3-on-2 handicap match. You better get out there and help your tag team partner while Gable's laying on the strewn on the floor.
He's like, Gable, it's a match.
Yeah,
You've got to get out there.
You need to get out there, mate. And I thought this is perfectly fine heel heat to get. I thought this was actually really effective and worked. The problem I had with this segment, to call back to what I said earlier, Michael Cole spent this whole match going this is just so unfair.
Yes,
this is a 3-on-2 handicap match. It's so unfair.
Can't believe it.
Corbin's just making up the rules as he goes along. He's drunk with power. This is a disgrace. And I'm like, mate, it's actually a more fair fight than what happened in the Lucha House Party match.
Well, the handicap match has rules. If you look in the WWE rule book, you flip through and you go, handicap match, there will be more people on one team than on the other team. You flip through a few more pages, you see Lucha House Party rules, and there's just a picture of a piñata.
This made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And it at least on the commentary side of things, the actual segment itself works fine. But the commentary made me hate this segment unnecessarily. So you did a bad job, and I'm not.
Well, just don't put it on the same show.
Well, yeah, precisely. But and a lot of people take issue with Michael Cole on this. It's not Michael Cole's fault. He is fed lines that he has to say, and he is saying this. So it's not Cole delivers them like a robot, granted, but he's got more life than Todd Phillips has. But it's not his call to make. These are lines that are being fed to him. It's the production that is at fault here, not Michael Cole.
It's a production for not working out the idea that if people are ganging up, the same as we said about the War Games thing and the Takeover thing. If the faces had the power in the Takeover match and they had the advantage, it's a rubbish match.
Yeah.
And you'll spend the whole match going. You won't be able to say that on Undisputed Era they're being so dastardly and such heels. You'd be like, well, they're admittedly fighting from the bottom now, so
God, I hope they win.
Yeah, exactly.
So this becomes a 3-on-2 handicap match, and AOP win. It was fine. Just the commentary sucked. We then got a recap of Dean and Seth's feud, and then we got one of these, and this is again WWE production at its absolute finest in terms of what is real, what is not, what is canon, what is not. They put up a screen for did you know facts about WWE superstars, and it's Nia Jax, and she's there with a big old smile on her face, and it's like, Nia Jax used to play basketball, and she's really successful at it, and she's a lovely, lovely person. Also, please boo her, because she's in the main event, and she's fighting against Ronda Rousey, so boo, no, she's not a good guy, but also cheer for her, people's choice and all that lark.
Yeah.
Make it, either wrestling is real in this world, or it's not.
Let's just not mention it on the show. Put it on the website.
Absolutely, exactly. Website stuff, that's what it's there for. So then we got men in gas masks walking out onto the ramp, and
SWAT gimps.
And Dean Ambrose's new music, which is his old music, but it now goes.
And it's slightly less jazzy. It's just like they've just let's just take 20% of the jazz out of that. That's just,
and replace it with air raid sirens. And he comes out with a gas mask too. Basically, he came out looking like Bane from The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
It was a proper like Bane cosplay.
They literally, they just didn't think about that at all. Well, they did. Clearly, they just went, "Who's cool?" Like in this, it's 2018. Who's cool? Like
no one cared about me until I beat up Seth Rollins
from 2011. It's a cultural reference that some people might understand.
WWE always have their finger on the pulse. It's like finally we're getting that Bane character in 2018.
That's Tom Hardy's biggest comic book character to date.
Yeah, sort of. Actually, no, it is still, isn't it?
Yeah, Venom is.
Well, no, but I think Dark Knight Rises made more money, so technically.
Possibly, but Venom is a starring role.
That's true. That's true. I mean, which one will
he did really well.
Well, which
Venom,
one?
Surprisingly,
well, that really wasn't just a surprise. What will he be remembered for, though? Will he be remembered as Tom Hardy doing his?
I think he'll be remembered for like Lawless or something like that.
I don't think he'll be remembered for that, mate.
I liked Lawless.
I mean, it was fine, but it's like that's not what.
What about Legend?
No, that all that.
You just think it's going to be Bane?
It's going to be Bane or Venom, or it's not, or it's going to be.
What about the one where he drives? What about the one where he
drives? It's not
drives?
where he's a car, like he's a car. It's not where he's in a car.
Yeah, where he drives to Wales. Yeah, that one. That's a great film. It's wicked.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Back of Car, I think.
It's not called Back of Car.
It's called.
Oh, it's really good though.
Tom Hardy in a car for an hour.
Tom Hardy in car.
Doing a little Welsh accent. Because Tom Hardy, I'm pretty sure he only accepts roles if he's like, can I do a wacky voice? I don't want to speak like Tom Hardy. Yeah. I want to do a wacky voice. I've worked with Tom Hardy. He's a lovely chap. Worked with him after he did Star Trek. Star Trek Nemesis he did. Yeah, Star Trek Nemesis. A couple of years after that, I did a short film with him. Lovely, lovely chap. Anyway, so Bane comes out and he cuts a You People promo. And it was weird because he's cutting this You People promo and he says like, I've got to wear this gas mask because this town, I don't want to get infected by this town or have this new weird germaphobe character he's got. So that's why he's wearing the gas mask. And then he takes the gas mask off.
And he drops down dead.
So it's like, why did you bother wearing the gas mask if you were just going to take it off? And then...
It's like War of the Worlds. and he was all killed by colds.
But then weirdly, once he took the gas mask off and he's just there with his big sort of fur jacket thing, I was like, it looks like Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses. It's going to go lovely jubbly.
So the problem with Seth Rollins is, right, he's been banging me bird Raquel.
So Rodney Del Boy cuts a promo now on Seth. And the crowd start chanting for Seth and he calls himself the moral compass of WWE. Now the moral compass of WWE, that is a good Dean Ambrose character based off what you were telling originally after the Roman Reigns leukemia announcement. That is a character that makes sense. Dean Ambrose, germaphobe, who's getting injections in his butt while trying to cut a serious promo, that is not a good Dean Ambrose character. More of over here, less of this one over there.
Well, the problem is, that one's taking a metaphor or like a thing you say really far too far. Like it's a really overworked. Like I've literally had to drive to a doctor's to get this pretend injection for coming to your town because I hate you that much. It's like at least Elias's your local sports team references, they take 10 seconds, and it's not like he had to go somewhere to do something. He's not at the local sports team going, oh boo.
Oh mate, they've missed a trick doing those. And it's weird. Because I just don't get what this Dean Ambrose character is. Because they're trying to have their cake and eat it too.
He was so much better when he didn't talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he came back and he didn't talk. Like he could have gone through the whole, like, he's a face, he's a heel. They could have done the whole turn without him ever saying a word.
And yet, remarkably, I thought the gas mask thing looked quite cool.
Yeah, and I think that's all it was done for. I feel like we had that whole thing last week. We've had all of this build up with this new germophobic You People thing. Oh, God, entirely so they could have a moment where he comes out of a SWAT team in gas masks.
And it sort of looked cool.
It's cool. It is cool.
It is cool because gas masks do always look cool.
But he should do it. But then it should be like it's more that he's gonna like cleanse or purge WWE of all the people that he doesn't like and all
the other characters. Brilliant.
That's fun.
That's wicked. Yeah, that's really cool. But the germaphobe thing doesn't really work for me. And please stop cutting You People promos. Good Lord. We do not need another heel doing You People promos. Hate this lazy writing.
Well, it's stupid because people dislike him because he dislikes Seth Rollins. It's that simple.
That's an easy...
You just play off the last man who you're against. And like Seth Rollins is one of the most over people in WWE. So if you're mean to Seth Rollins, people won't like you. You don't have to be like, I also don't like all of you.
Exactly.
Individually, all of you.
And the crowd were chanting for Seth. So the crowd are into Seth. And Seth came out and they had a pretty wicked brawl, actually. I really like this. Seth was wicked in this segment. But it
was awesome powerbomb thing over the ropes. That was
wicked. But then we got Dirty Deeds on the floor because Dean's got 12,000 people out there with gas masks. And he had Dirty Deeds in the ring and he left. And then we got our weekly Corey Graves as a pop at Renee for not saying enough. However, this one was better because they were acknowledging that they are husband and wife. And it was a weird little turn for Renee here because she was just like, will you guys stop asking me? Like, we are entitled to our own private life just because we are husband and wife. And they kind of like made these references to it. And like Corey Graves, they're going like, are we just going to pretend that the WWE universe doesn't really know about you two? And they played it off, and I thought it was actually played off quite nicely. I just don't know where it's going with Renee. Or is this literally just a way to stop her? Yeah, is she going to turn heel? The last thing I think we need is heel Renee. Yeah. But then again, I said this like earlier in the year, the last thing we need is heel Becky Lynch. And I was proved wrong on that one because that was the best thing for her, I guess. Well, she was sort of a heel. She wasn't really. Not in my heart. No, she'll always be a babyface in my heart. And then we got Nia cutting a promo backstage. I feel like, because I've always been very down on Nia promos. Because they're not good, but she is a better promo as a heel because it feels like she's less ba 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 ba. At least when she's like
and then I will win,
and then I will win, and Ember, you are my tag team partner. But at least when she's a heel and she's playing this bully character, it turns out Alexa Bliss was right all along. By the way, that it sort of works. But anywho. Yes, and she does the punch thing.
She looks at her hand a lot.
Oh, mate, there was a moment later with #Facebreaker that really made me chuckle. But we'll get to that in a second. That's when we found out that Ember Moon was going to be Ronda's tag team partner. And then we got the payoff to that Rhyno versus Heath Slater match. When 30 seconds, Heath got a sneak neck breaker and won. Odd.
Yeah.
Even odder, during the commercial break, if you are unaware, I certainly was, Rhyno announced to the crowd that he's retiring. And that's why they did this sort of snap breakup of the team. Rhyno is retiring from professional wrestling. What a sad end. What a sad end.
To eat a neck break, like a rubbish neck breaker from Heath Slater.
I mean, you put someone over on their way out, I guess, but like...
You absolutely do, but you could... It's Rhyno, man.
I know, man. But like, I feel like Rhyno means something to you and I, though, because we are 30.
Yes.
But like Rhyno to the 2018 WWE audience is just, he was the tag team partner of Heath Slater.
Oh, absolutely.
And didn't win a lot. So like when I think of Rhyno and I'm like, oh man, like the last ECW champion, the man beast. When I was tape trading ECW shows back in the day, I used to love Rhyno. I thought it was a massive mark for him. And I loved him when he came in 2001 as the WWF, and he was partnered with Edge and Christian and as Team Wreck, and he had that amazing feud with Chris Jericho in the summer of 2001 during the Invasion. Oh, and when like you had Paul Heyman on commentary going, God, like that's Rhyno, and I'm like, yes, Rhyno. So. It's sad then, as a fan of that Rhyno that I was, to see him retire in a dark segment for the live crowd only. Yeah. Not in Detroit. At least I don't think it was in Detroit.
So that's the thing. No, it's in Houston, Texas.
Oh yeah, of course it was.
So in this regard, is Rhyno injured? Is that partly why he's retiring? So like he's just gone in there, taken a couple of bumps and left. Fair. That's fine. Is it that he's been driven down so far by this whole thing, like the crap show that is the Raw Tag Team division, that he's just like, I'm just gonna go run my boatyard.
Yeah, I'm just gonna run my boatyard.
And the quicker we can get from here to there, I'm up for that. I don't even want a last final heroic battle with someone that actually has like a bit of build and a bit of story. I don't want to go back down to NXT and have a great last match there where people actually probably care.
Yep.
Like I'll just have Heath do it. Like it's just like kneeling down, opens the robe, just lop the head off, just go
for it. So that is the end of Rhyno and Heath Slater, the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions, if you can all remember that. But it was a very short match. Sad end for Rhyno, but good luck in the world of politics, man beast. And then backstage, holy heckins, Heath Slater's only got himself a bloody storyline. And I'll be honest with you, it's a storyline that I really I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to see this segment next week because Corbin is walking backstage, congratulates Heath on his win, and then hands him his new role in the company.
I forgot about this, yeah.
He hands him a referee shirt and says, like, oh, you didn't think I was going to employ you as a wrestler?
No. Got loads of those.
No, we've got loads of those.
Swimming in them.
You're going to be a lowly referee. Oh, man, I can't wait to see where this goes. I mean, it's probably going to go nowhere, but I think this is going to be, I think this could lead to some comedy fun.
Yeah, you're like, this is going to go somewhere. I'm just like, it's going to be japes. Just only japes. Japes that don't mean anything. Japes.
Well, I'm trying to be positive, man. I'm trying to be positive here. Even though I'm the negative
referee
one,
house party.
Oh, man, that's what he needs to do. Start his own tag team, with the referee house rules. Anywho, Finn Balor then beats Jinder Mahal.
That was a match.
Yep, the Singh brothers did the Kid and Play dance, which I popped for. And then Apollo Crews ran down to take out the brothers. Balor hit the coup de grace and won. Jinder Mahal was once WWE champion. And then
Apollo Crews was there, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Getting some time.
Hey, Apollo Crews.
A 1 second gorilla press and get kicked in the face by Jinder Mahal.
But you know what, man? After the last 2 weeks, I'm like, man, progression.
Yeah, Apollo Crews.
Stuff is happening.
Yeah.
It feels like momentum is happening and we are moving forward. And that's a great thing. Like, when I roll the dice in a board game, I want to move spaces. I don't want to roll the dice and be like, staying here.
I just don't know what they're doing with Balor and all these rando faces that he's gathering up now. I know he's not gathering them per se, and like he's, hopefully, by God, this isn't the forming of the Balor Club.
No, I don't think so.
Like with just a random selection of people. It's like it's Elias, it's Apollo Crews. We'll get some other ones, I'm sure. But
what's Dana doing? Is she a face
but
this week?
also this just feels like this is like 3 weeks too late. Like Survivor Series, has happened. A Balor versus Corbin led team-based Survivor Series match would have been fine. With these people, any selection, it is a completely random selection of people anyway. So this would have been fine. But it's just like, why are we now doing this sort of Balor helping everyone out, Balor versus the world?
What I think we've got baby faces standing up for themselves, and Balor is kind of like the forefront of this because he's been cutting this promo. I think he cut the promo last week, or it might be the week before. The shows blend into one after a while, where he said, I'm not going to just stand by. I'm going to be on the right side of history. I'm going to be the guy that stops this Baron Corbin nonsense and take him down as GM, and we're going to have a nice time on Raw for a change rather than Baron and his mates.
Corbin again.
Well, Jesus.
Get that demon on.
At least it wasn't the main event this week.
Yeah,
people might actually stick around for the third hour of this show. Ronda Rousey was in it.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, it was fine. But as he was walking backstage, Drew attacked him from behind and looked vicious doing it. Thumbs up for Drew.
Yes.
Looked good. Then we got a video
he's
package.
Lucky he's got very good booking.
Well, yeah, protected. It's because he's tall.
He's
tall. If I was in WWE, I would be the Balor of this situation, just being the one that's pushed into barrels and whatnot.
I'd be Heath Slater.
Because the beard, right?
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
it's the beard.
You're exactly the same.
Same.
So we then got a video package for Lars Sullivan. I was about to write down, it's the same video package we've always seen, but oh no.
No.
Lars cut a promo. Lars got a promo in this. It's all like up in his face and his grill.
Yeah.
He's
been watching Sami Callihan.
Well, it looked like a 90s metal video,
yeah.
like the early 2000s on Scuzz. This is what the lead singer's video camera would have been. Video camera.
I don't really understand. I don't understand all this push behind the Lars Sullivan thing. Like it smacks of we don't know what we're doing.
Oh, totally.
But we're going to keep
exactly what it is.
But we're going to keep talking about it for minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Like rather than just going, we can just drop this. Like we can package this one this week and then and then so he's the hottest free agent in all of wrestling. Yeah. Whoa, he is the freak.
Yeah, oh man, all of it. Like before he's even debuted, they branded him.
Yeah.
Like because that's
what's his nickname in NXT?
He doesn't have one.
The Leviathan.
But they don't
Too smart.
But they don't call him the Leviathan, Lars Sullivan. And he doesn't refer to himself as the Leviathan, Lars Sullivan.
It's just a cool name that Mario calls him.
Exactly, or like, he calls him a Jack Kirby character come to life. You know, he's just got like all these like things that he likes to call wrestlers. But as soon as you come up here, it's just like, no, you've just got a name, branding, that's what we need. So when Balor came up, and they just had to keep hammering home, he's the Demon King Finn Balor, Demon King Finn Balor. They just love to just slap labels on people and expect that's what's going to get them over.
I love the anti-labels, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's really easy.
What was it? What do they call Rich Swann? Oh, man, he had a stupid nickname as well. And like it was Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Man, what was the Rich Swann? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But anyway, Lars Sullivan is now the
Dancing Rich Swann.
Yeah, it was like the. Oh man, I can't remember. I can't be bothered to think. Someone will let me know in the comments if you've made it this far. You can let me know.
Rich, if you're watching, let us know.
Actually,
tweet us and let us know, Rich.
Text Rich.
We'll put it in the news.
Yeah, it's an update, a styling update. Anyway, yeah, so he's now the freak Lars Sullivan. You've never seen a freak like him. You ain't never seen a freak like him.
Hey.
And then we got our main event of Nia Jax and Tamina versus Ronda Rousey and Ember Moon. And this is the bit that made me laugh in this, because Tamina's holding Ember, and then Nia does her big, like, she does her fist thing, and Corey goes like, ho, 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 it's hashtag facebreaker, and then Nia punches her in the stomach, and Corey goes like, oh.
I like that. That was good.
Yeah, hashtag facebreaker punches Ember Moon in the stomach. Cool. Can't even get that character right. Come on, guys. Like, if you're going to do hashtag facebreaker, punch people in the face.
Yeah, but the problem is when Ember Moon's face doesn't then break.
Then don't call her hashtag facebreaker.
The illusion is broken.
Don't do as a spot in the match. It undermines.
Mystique breaker.
It undermines the gimmick. So.
Is it a gimmick?
That's totally a gimmick. That's her freak name. Like, that is her label. She is hashtag facebreaker. I can never say. I always say Fracebreaker.
Fracebreaker.
Fracebreaker is what I always say.
Fracebreaker Crane and his brother Niles.
Fracebreaker sounds like it's a challenge on the Bake Off. And it's one that I don't understand.
This week we are making a Fracebake.
But the spot I suppose everyone wants us to talk about, and I don't think this is nice. It's not Tamina's fault, but Tamina grabs Ember Moon, and she jumps up in the air and does a headbutt. But I think Ember was just expecting her to do a headbutt. Yeah. So when Tamina moves, Ember bumps. And she falls to the floor. So then Tamina sort of jumps up in the air and throws down. It's like, she's already fallen. And then just, I'll do a stomp now. And she tried to recover as quickly as she possibly could. And I bloody love Ember Moon. I'm a big, big Ember Moon advocate. But this was not Tamina's fault.
No.
That's the way she does her headbutts. She jumps up in the air and does them Ember bumped early. And it made everyone look very, very silly. And then anyway, she collided with Nia Jax. And then we got probably the best spot of the match, which was when Ronda Rousey gets the hot tag. And then she doesn't beat up Tamina. She yells at Tamina to tag in Nia.
She beats up Tamina enough.
Yes.
And she's like, now you may tag in Nia Jax, please.
This is great, because then I thought Nia sold this really well, where she was like, yeah, okay, I'll tag. I don't want to tag. She's like, I'm not getting in. Tamina tags her anyway. So she's like, okay, I guess I'll get in then. So she gets in the ring brilliantly, like a heel. First thing she does, tags out. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Brilliant. Heel 101 booking. Thumbs up. Loved this. But anyway, like, Rousey, being the badass babyface, like, don't care. Give an S. Throws her back in, does some more moves to her. I thought this was a really fun main event in the end.
I love all these little bits they do with Rousey.
Yeah.
It's
good. Great. They protect her. They book her like a badass babyface. They make her seem legitimate. She's not, and like this, none of this millennial man nonsense that she's still sticking with on Twitter, but they've dropped on TV. But she looks like a badass in the ring. When they are committed to an idea, when they want something to work, they can make it work. It's just that they're not asked about 98% of the people on the roster, so 98% of it feels rubbish. But when they care about something, when they want something to work, you get Ronda Rousey, you get Braun Strowman, you get Roman Reigns, you get something that works.
Yeah, you feel like that's all they spend their time on. All that stuff is like, Rousey's probably been written, her stuff's been like plotted out, pinpoint perfectly. For the next year.
Oh, yes.
Everyone else, it's like week to week.
But even then, with Rousey, it's probably like
Luchas?
Like this time next year, we know where we want to be with her. But if this happens, maybe we can go here, maybe we can go here.
Yeah.
Vince Russo, in one of his shoot interviews, one of his many shoot interviews, once told a story. It was one he did with Ed Ferrara. He said that when he would write Raw, like they would go to Vince's house to write Raw back in like 98, 99. He said we would show up for Raw, and Vince would only have one question, which is like, what's Austin doing? And that was it. That's all Vince cared about is what is Austin doing this week? And then he'd be like, well, okay, can we talk about Goldust? Can we talk about Dylan? He's like, don't really care about them. What is Austin doing?
Yeah.
So you tell him what Austin's doing. He's like, cool. Then the rest of the show doesn't really matter. Because Vince gets tunnel vision to tunnel vision, and he wants certain things to succeed, and he's not asked about the rest of it.
It was weird, though, because he has to watch it all as well.
Yes.
So
he's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, sitting there.
What's a Lucha house party?
He's sitting there getting grumpy in the back with his little headset on. It's like, well, you had the option to say, no, this is rubbish, but you didn't. So now you have to watch it, like everyone else.
Yes.
You schmuck.
Anyway, tunnel vision. He likes Ronda. Ronda looks great off the back of that. So this was a thumbs up end to the show. Tamina got the Eclipse and the armbar. She tapped out. Good guys win. Crowd goes home happy. And I finished the show going like, I think I mostly had fun watching that match.
Yeah, it was all right.
With that said, it's still a poor show. It's
because
while I really liked the Ronda stuff, and there were segments and elements of the show that I did like, overall, I didn't think the show was particularly great.
No, it had a good beginning. I liked the opening. I liked the middle bit with Drew and Dolph. And I liked the end.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Balor at least got a win. Even if it was just a match. Yeah. It was just a match, but at least like the stuff with Balor dotted throughout was also like, at least something is happening with someone who isn't a heel.
Yeah. And I think because the last 2 weeks have been ungodly awful, just like the dirt worst. Still not as bad as 2009 WWE or 2006 WWE, and I will not have any arguments against that, or WCW in 99-2000. Not as bad as that, but still just awful. Just horrendously awful. So, as we said at the start of the show, because this was a step up, God, it felt like a much better show. Like, it's just a tiny fraction better. And I'm like, God, this is great. This was a great show. But really, it wasn't a great show. It was still a poor show.
Yeah, no, this is the equivalent of if you were a house elf and you'd just been given a sock. You're like, whoa.
Is that a Harry Potter thing?
That's a Harry Potter thing, man. People will get this.
You need to make references.
Yeah, I need to. I'll bring Andy now. Hang on.
Is there a Transformers equivalent you have?
No, I don't. Sadly, I don't, because the Transformers are already pretty sweet. That's the thing. Is like
God,
you'd be
awesome.
like, you would be like, you wouldn't ever be at the stage where you're like, oh my God, my life is so destitute. You'd be like, oh no, I can be a car now. See ya.
What if it was Rodimus Prime down in the dumps because he's just not as good as Optimus, but Cup just comes up and gives him an...
That's a real existential crisis.
It gives him an Energon treat, and it's like, oh, actually...
Oh, fine. Gives him the matrix of leadership, and he's like...
Oh, I've got the touch and the power.
I do have both of those things. Thank you, Stan.
Cheers, Stan Bush. Anyway, so that was this week's Raw. You try that again. You gave it a...
Poor.
Yes, I would have also gone poor, but perhaps... high poor, because, as I said, step up. You know, not the film.
I mean,
franchise.
poor is still a step up from bore.
Yeah,
so...
absolutely. Yeah, in of itself, it is a step up. It was a 2 out of 5 show.
I was very sleepy watching it. I'll put that out there.
Yeah, God, I got up at 5 a.m. to watch this show, and I was not in the mood.
I mean, there's both the bit of having to get up early to watch things, but there's also the bit where you're like, I could genuinely sleep through this, and I wouldn't have missed really anything. So,
yep,
yeah.
This is what you.
Considering I normally just watch NXT, which is a nice tight little hour-long package, and this was like me just sitting there for 3 hours going, God, I wish I had some toast or something. Just going pottering about trying to do stuff.
And I did find myself at one point. I'm going way off topic here. You can shut off the show now if you don't care about this.
Yeah, we're done.
If we finished the Raw review,
wait for the links at the end.
Yeah, click another button. But I had a bit of a grumpy moment while watching the show though, because my wife, and this is going to sound very middle class and very millennial hipster vegan nonsense.
She'd eaten all of the avocados.
But like one of our favourite breakfasts is one we had when we were in Iceland on our mini moon, which is just it's hummus on toast with like cucumber and like sea salt and black pepper.
Oh,
it's
lovely.
Bloody lovely. It's really, really tasty. And when my wife does it, it's just amazing. I'm like, nom, 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 this is delightful. I did it for myself this morning. You remember that episode of Friends when Monica makes Chandler a bubble bath and he loves it, and then he tries to do it himself and it's awful? It's exactly what happened here. I was eating it, I was like, Why can't I do this?
Where'd the magic gone?
What's the magic gone? Did I buy the wrong bread? Did I buy the wrong hummus?
You look and you're eating the box of a cereal. This isn't bread at all. This is just Cocoa Pops box.
I've picked up a Weetabix. That's why this is horrible. Anyway, that was my morning, so I got a bit of a grump on it.
Polyfiller for the hummus.
And Play-Doh. Anyway, that's this week's Raw review. Thank you very much for watching. Please head over to beer52.com/WrestleTalk to claim your free case of craft beer. UK viewers only, just pay for the postage. And click the videos that have just appeared on our laps to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk awesome things. If you are a patron, the poll for WrestleRamble Extra is now open. Please go and vote and click this button here to subscribe to the podcast version of this show with its own exclusive intros and outros, totally free of charge. I have been Loco, and this has been our fake Laurie Blake, and that was Raw Type Rambling.